with your host, Upper Perkiomen School District Superintendent, Dr. Alan Roche.
Welcome to the March episode of Inside Upper Perk, the Superintendent's View podcast. I'm excited. Tonight we're actually on location at the middle school recording our presenters from the Innovation Fair. So stay tuned for some great guests and hear all about our presenters and the Innovation Fair. Okay, we're going to jump right in with our first presenter that's a part of the Innovation Fair tonight, Mrs. Jess Dynda, who's one of our teachers at the 4th and 5th grade center. So thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you seem excited.
Absolutely. This is exciting. I love being part of the first one. I'm sure there will be more to come.
That would be great. So tell us a little bit about your project, the title, and what inspired you to be here.
Sure. So I'm the instructional coach at the 4-5 center, and my project is titled Savings and Spirit, and it's kind of like a lot of ideas, just like kind of little ideas, and I presented each one on each side. So the savings side, if you're looking at it, is on the left, and the spirit's on the right. Savings, I kind of listed a few things that I know that we buy on an annual basis that I think kind of overlap with other programs that we buy. And so I presented like, instead of this, try this,
Great.
And then the rationale and the savings, like the exact, I got some help with the budget, and so like the cost savings. And then on the spirit side, I just thought of things that would not cost the district anything, but could boost morale. So something like maybe offering one of our in-service days each year as a work-from-home option. Maybe that November one, that's that election day when a lot of our buildings are already closed and we're kind of navigating around all these barriers anyway.
Gotcha.
Maybe.
Sure.
And my last spirit idea was just reminding staff to get outside more. I mean, that's so easy,
Right.
but a lot of times we feel very confined to our walls,
Yep.
and it's almost, I'm not saying we need permission, but sometimes we kind of feel like we need permission to be like, yeah, we can get outside during our lunch, go for a walk, enjoy the outdoors.
Right.
So there are just a few examples of what I put together on
Yeah, you mentioned in-service and you mentioned outside. It makes me think of the upcoming Special Olympics in-service that we do, because it's just a great time. Sometimes a little too cold. And we try to do some coffee and things, but an excellent opportunity to get outside, but also to support students and really bring it down to what it's all about.
That's right. Absolutely.
What it's all
That's
about.
such a fantastic day. And it really brings the whole staff together,
Right.
and we're doing the right thing,
Right.
rooting for the kids. And that's what it's all about, like you said.
I'm looking forward to going out and seeing all the presentations in a little while, and appreciate you being here.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. And we're back with our special presenter. Honestly, what it's all about tonight is about our students. So we're here with Kayden Holly, who has a presentation for Seniors Paint the Spots. Kayden, welcome.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about why you put in for Paint the Spots.
As children and students at high school, we're always on social media, and that's all we see on social media. All these other schools doing fun things the new spirit days of bring anything but a backpack, and people are bringing boats and really weird wagons and stuff. And then you see painting your parking spots, and they make this really big fun day out of it of my favorite Disney movie is Rapunzel. I'll paint my spot as a Rapunzel theme. And it just becomes this really cool thing, and everybody gets to show themselves in one last year. And
So senior privilege.
Yeah, senior privilege. So basically at the beginning of the year, everybody would come in right before school starts. You'd paint your parking spot, and it would be, anybody who wants to come, really. If community parents wanted to come, they could come, and you just have a fun time painting your parking spot, whatever you wanted, obviously school appropriate. They'd have to fill out a Google form.
Sure.
Which,
So in the pictures that you've seen in other schools, is it isolated to one area of the parking lot, or is it all over the place, random things based upon where your spot is?
Honestly, it's been more confined, so it's easier to make sure that the paint isn't bleeding out everywhere else and everything. Some schools have recommended just slowly shifting over which lanes it is, so that there's not a buildup of paint.
Okay.
And I mean, that sounds like a pretty good idea, but for our school, there's only 300 spots, and we'd only use 99 or 100 out of the 3, so a third of them.
Right.
For the actual
And
painting.
that's on the gymnasium side of the high school typically, right?
Yes, it would be. It would be kind of the spots closest to the parent pickup area. And I mean, I've already gotten so much positive feedback. Everybody's excited about it. I have kids come up to me in class and ask me if we're doing it.
Right.
I mean, I don't have control over it, but
Sure.
if the administration would.
Well, again, and that's why we're here. As I probably think I talked to you right before this as well. These are the ideas. And I said to the couple groups, even if the principal said no, bring it up. We want to hear the ideas because I think that student voices are very, very important for us to hear and react to.
Yeah.
So what's the best case scenario coming out of the Innovation Fair with the ideas that we're going to collect? We have 23 presentations. What would be your greatest hope coming out of this as you share your idea and try to get some support behind it?
Honestly, I would hope, I think my biggest hope is having parents interact back with it and having the administration see that and maybe start taking a couple steps further. Because on our side of it, we've already made Google Forms and information sheets for administration so they wouldn't have to go too deep into all of the research. And
So it's ready to go.
Yes, it's ready to go.
Right.
And I've shared editing access with Mr. Amsler and Mr. Flanagan so they already can approve and, deny
Understood.
the different designs.
Well, thanks so much. I look forward to hearing the presentation when I'm
Yeah.
out walking around. So thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks. And our next presenter from the Innovation Fair tonight is Mrs. Brathwaite from Parents for Inclusion. So thanks for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So what was the idea that you said, I'm going to jump in and I'm going to present and put my organization out there for the Innovation Fair?
Well, there was a school board meeting, and Mrs. Pennypacker had presented something that the students had done where what would they do to change policy. And I thought, well, that's innovation right there. So why not have a play off of Shark Tank and call it Perk Tank? And then the students can present to me, utilizing my nonprofit, with an idea, a budget, with a forecast, and actionable steps that the community can take to bring their ideas to life.
What's your hopes for tonight, for people to coming through and to hear your presentation?
Yeah, I just want people to see that the kids have ideas. If you really want innovation in this community and in this school, let's listen to the kids. I mean, they're the ones with the boots on the ground.
I agree 100%. We're fortunate to have even a third grader here tonight from one of the schools. So we did a full push to third, fourth, fifth, and then at the middle school and high school to encourage students. So we definitely have a strong student presentation today. A lot of administrators that were kind of voluntold to be here, let's say. But then from the community, another strong show out from our community. So we're excited.
Love that.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. I mean, we don't know it all. People have ideas, and we really want to hear what they are.
Exactly.
So, well, I appreciate you coming and joining me here, and look forward to hearing your presentation in a little while.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, our next presenter is coming out of the category of family and community presentations. So we're excited to have Hannah Kranick here today, talking about launching an elementary tutoring program powered by student mentors. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the concept, the idea, and what you're sharing with people as they walk by.
Sure. So my idea is to stand up a tutoring program where high school students in good academic standing with Upper Perk serve as low-cost, approachable mentors and tutors to elementary students who don't qualify for formal in-school support. When we don't intervene in the beginning stages, when we see a challenge, the gap is only going to widen.
Sure.
And then that can lead to repeating grades, special education placement in the future. And this is just a low-cost way to prevent that from happening and give high school students opportunity for volunteer hours. I also built a template for tracking success. So the tutors can potentially use these measures and use that for college applications, job resumes, interviews, and really lean into their future path.
Right. So would they get out of school early, or because there is an offset between elementary and high school timing-wise, probably about an hour and 15-minute difference?
Yeah, so I think because the high school lets out a little bit earlier, it would be ideal for high school students who hopefully would have transportation to make their way to either to the two separate elementary schools, the 4-5 center, wherever it may be, and it's an after-school program, essentially.
After-school program. Okay, that makes more sense in terms of that. I mean, we do have community service. The high school students, some of them have community service, where they they get out a little earlier than the end of the day, and they are able to go participate in many events. Sometimes high school students go back to their elementary classrooms that they that they are near and dear to, and others
Yeah.
go. We have one here in the room with us that comes over to the Ed Center to work on communications.
Amazing.
Yeah, so some of those opportunities are there. So it's really an after-school program.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, however it would best serve
Yeah.
the community of the schools. But my hope would also be that there are 4 faculty advisors, one from each school that is participating in the program, and the teachers are the ones that make the formal recommendations for a student to go into the program.
Right.
Of course, we want parents to be involved, and their input is always welcome,
Yeah.
but it's up to the teachers to assess where the child is at academically, and if they're at or below the median for that subject, whether it's math, reading, writing, they would draft a formal recommendation,
Right.
the advisors would vet it, and then the advisors help match students to the tutors.
Understood. But how awesome is it for a kindergartner or anywhere up to 5th grade to now know someone from the high school?
Exactly.
And talk to them and be able to call them by their first name and maybe see them when they come to a football game or see them at a softball game, that type of thing.
Exactly, and the research has shown that peer-to-peer tutoring programs really help with social behavior, classroom behavior, improved academic success, higher graduation rates.
Right.
I mean, it's all there. So middle school has this program, and I think we need to translate it down to the 4-5 center and elementary schools.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me on the podcast. This will be out in March, and we look forward to going out and seeing your presentation.
Great, thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we're back. This time we have 2 presenters that are co-presenting. We have Lincoln and we have Aidan, both 3rd graders at Hereford. So welcome, gentlemen. I appreciate seeing you in a shirt and tie. You guys look fantastic. You're ready for your presentation. How has it been going out there in the Innovation Fair?
It's been pretty good. We've had a lot of questions, answered them great.
Okay, so tell us on the podcast, what's the title of your presentation and what is it all about?
It's called Laps Are for Your Body, Not for Punishment.
Okay.
And it's about how we should shorten laps down to like 1 lap instead of like multiple and do it like every day.
So you're saying that instead of having to do 2 laps, you should only do 1, or you should do no laps? What's exactly?
We should only do 1 because if we do none, there's a higher chance of us like puking and like yeah,
we definitely don't want that.
Yeah, and like our stomach won't be able to like digest it like good enough, and
Right.
It'll end up pretty bad.
Okay.
I also noticed when we have a lot of laps, kids get pretty grumpy and they start like not even doing the laps properly.
Right.
They start finding ways to like beat the system, like
Right.
while they're not looking, like the recess aides aren't looking.
Okay.
They like run the lap.
Right. So are you pitching this as for 3rd grade, kind of like a 3rd grade privilege? It should be less laps?
A whole like school.
For the whole school.
privilege.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the whole school. Okay.
I just want to mention one thing. I'm not sure if Lincoln already mentioned this, but we had no help from our parents.
Well, you didn't need the help?
No,
I'm sure they would have helped you if you wanted it,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
didn't need it.
they asked around and stuff like, do you need help?
Right.
And we just straight up said, nope, we got this.
That's awesome.
And we
Yeah.
did the whole thing by ourselves. We came up with the idea by ourselves, and they didn't help us one bit.
Awesome. Next year, you guys are going to be in 4th grade. If we were to have the Innovation Fair, would you think of a new idea to come and present?
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit harder, but
Okay.
I bet you I could still do it.
Awesome. So have fun tonight.
I want everybody to be listening to this. Just have a great day.
Thank you. And our next presenter is representing a large group of administrators and a teacher. I have Mr. Frank Flanagan, our high school principal, who's going to be talking about the Upper Perkiomen Cyber Academy. So welcome.
Thank you.
You're a veteran here on the podcast.
I am. This
Yes.
is my 2nd time.
There you
so,
go.
Yep,
Awesome.
I'm definitely, enjoy the podcast.
Did you get voluntold to come and represent the group? Or?
Alexa stopped over and I said, yeah, I'll go over and chat. That's fine.
Awesome.
So I
Awesome.
volunteered.
So tell us about your project and who your team is and what the idea is.
Yeah, sure. So we currently, as everyone knows, and I don't know how much they know, but if you're familiar with our Cyber Academy, our model, our UPOLA, which is our Upper Perkiomen Online Academy, which is what we currently have. And for that model, we use a third-party vendor that provides our courses for us called Edgenuity, and
Which has a cost per course.
which has a cost per course, and there's a series of students who are enrolled in those courses from elementary all the way up through secondary. So in taking a look at the project, myself, one of the assistant principals at the high school, Ms. Senovitis, and Dr. Woloff, who's our director of curriculum and instruction for secondary, and then Kristen Flanagan, the instructional coach at the middle school, we wanted to really look at ways, looking around at some of the cyber models that we're familiar with, ways we could probably bring some of those cyber classes in and have our teachers here at Upper Perk teach them. We have Schoology as our learning management system, and some of my past experiences, as well as some of our team has experienced where we've had our cyber model run through Schoology in other districts, and our teachers are staffing it and they're planning it and they're delivering the curriculum. And so when students enroll in the cyber model or cyber program in a district that way, you can kind of flex them into a course and they're learning the same curriculum, they're experiencing the same teaching, the same level of support, and also it's being staffed by our teachers, which is cost neutral for us based on the staffing that we're paying for.
So one of the advantages of the online learning academy, UPOLA, or even any cyber charter seems to be like asynchronous. So it's not always math is at 9:15 and ELA is at this time. So in that model, in that vision, would it still be asynchronous or model or pieces of asynchronous piece?
Yeah, it could absolutely be that way. I know that, a lot of the cyber charter schools, they run where they have to check in with students every week. I think that's through the state. So they
it's
do
mandatory now based upon that.
Yeah, they do a mandatory check-in. So, the content, one of the perks is, as Dr. Rose shared, is that a lot of the students who go cyber, they really like the flexibility depending on their schedule, and they have different needs. And we've seen anything from, high level need in their family or high level need of the student, all the way up to, you could be a really, really competitive athlete, or, I've seen students who, they go to Florida to train for horseback riding in the winter, and so they're on.
I had a level 10 gymnast in the district that I was at too.
Yeah, so they would be in the program, and starting mid-second marking period, they would jump into the cyber academy. They could go do what they got to do, and then when they're ready to come back to the building, they could be flexed right back in, which is something that our current model doesn't really offer the way that it's set up.
To help with transition, because it could be similar teachers or very similar, but definitely the same curriculum.
Yep. If
it's not exactly the same teacher, because the timing-wise, but it definitely would be more continuity.
Yeah, it would create continuity. We would also, be using, again, our Upper Perk curriculum. The student, it would create flexibility. It would be asynchronous. We could, you could do something where you did office hour check-ins with teachers.
Could it be synchronous?
It could be.
Could it be where
Yep.
I just can't, for whatever reason, can't make it, or maybe I'm sick and I just need to Zoom in or Teams in?
Yeah, so there's some districts that, and this kind of came out of COVID, where they installed cameras in every classroom. So if, you're taking English 10 honors and you can't come in, or, you're in the cyber program, then, the teacher would have a camera that went live, and during instruction that would be delivered virtually, and a student could jump on and they could get synchronous instruction. So
Right. Okay.
it really just, there's a lot of different variations that you can do. I think a lot of kids like the flexibility of the asynchronous piece, but I think that this was an idea that we had because, we have all the data in our presentation. We talk about, how many students are attending cyber charter schools. We talk about how many students in our presentation, related to budget-wise, how much each regular education versus special education student costs in the cyber charter land, as well as how much UPOLA costs. And so, being able to do it with our staff, it could be a cost savings. It may not be because, you have to see if you have enough staff, but this was an idea that we had just to kind of honestly beyond the budget to better the cyber delivery that we offer our students.
Right. And we're proud of our program. We're proud of our teachers and the instruction that they're getting and the lessons that they're learning. And we want to share that with our entire community.
100%.
Awesome.
100%.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like it's got a lot of potential in many areas. And I'm looking forward to getting out there and seeing the presentation.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
And that's going to bring part one of our podcast to a close. I want to thank the teachers, students, and administrators that were able to participate today, and look forward to part two, where we're going to hear more great innovative ideas from the Innovation Fair.